Alright, my name is Blake Betsill. This is my new student dialogue video blog thing. I'm going to pack a lip real quick. Okay, my dialogue was Breaking Down the Wall, a dialogue on race. It was pretty interesting. I went about a week ago. There were a couple of different people there. It was kind of diverse. Not as many minorities as I thought it was going to be, but I assumed that was probably just because it was a later one and people kind of signed up for what was left. But it was good. It was interesting to talk about some like the stereotypes and things like that. There were a few active voices in the group. A lot of people would speak up and talk about the different stereotypes they thought were involved with the like the races and stuff like that. Like how a couple of them people put up. One of the things they made us do was they put a list of the races around the walls, and we all had to like write a stereotype and put it up for the races. And then after that, we had to go around and pull down one that we didn't think was actually true. And it was funny because somebody put up one for black people about all of them liking Kool-Aid and fried chicken, and almost every African American in the group went up, looked at it, and laughed and left it up there. So we all thought that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny to laugh about. But yeah, some people were talking about different things, like different stereotypes they had heard and why they think they had arose, and it was good. Everybody had a lot of ideas saying how it was different. Like they think part of it was coming from where they grew up and things like that, and that different stereotypes would arise in different neighborhoods and where people were coming from. So that was nice. There were definitely some people who sat there and didn't really get involved at all. They just kind of sat in the corner and were just like, oh, this is stupid. I can't wait to get out of this place. I don't want to be here. I'm just here because they're making me. And as you would expect, I guess there's going to be people like that everywhere. And they didn't really contribute, but whatever. If everybody was contributing, I guess it would take way too long. So I guess you got to have the kind of people who sit back there and be quiet, and they're just there to get the passing grade for it and do what they got to do. I tried to be one of the more active voices and talk about it, because if everybody's going to sit there and be quiet, it's going to take way longer. It's not going to be very, active. You aren't going to get any sort of progress talking about the different stereotypes and different things involved with race. And it would just take a while, and it would just be more awkward for everybody to just kind of sit there in silence and have the mediators constantly have to try and get everybody more active. So I tried to respond to every question they asked and just generally be an active member of the group and keep things moving. And I mean, the sooner, I'm a pretty outgoing guy, so I guess the sooner things go. Hi, Chris. The smoother things go, the faster they get done, less uncomfortable it is for everybody. I mean, if everybody's kind of talking and there actually is a dialogue, it's a lot less awkward if there's just everybody sitting there in silence and not discussing anything. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not entirely sure why it's part of our assignment, but do what you gotta do. Pass, gotta get it done. So I guess it was an experience. I wouldn't recommend doing it again, but I can't say I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was kind of interesting to get there and talk to a lot of people. I mean, I grew up in a real small town. No, I don't want to take shots, Chris. I grew up in a real small town. Predominantly, it was a rural area, predominantly white, not a lot of minorities. Pretty like country redneck town kind of thing. So, but surprisingly, not much racism at all really where I was from. So one of the things they had us do when we got there is they had us pick somebody we didn't know in the group and partner up with them and say one thing that we saw and assumed from them just by looking at them and didn't know anything about previously. And I actually paired up with a young African American guy, and we talked, and he was tall, and I said, one of the things I assumed is you were tall, you were black, you probably play basketball. And he laughed. He was like, I do, like, that's true. And he said he saw me wearing my boots and my jeans and like my hunting jacket, assumed I was from like the country and hunted and liked to be outside and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And him and I just got to talking. It was kind of awkward at first to tell people what you saw and assumed from them right away, but after that, I mean, everybody was kind of sitting there like, all right, well, don't judge anybody for what they assume, because everybody sees people and assumes things every day. So once you got past the first couple, it wasn't really awkward, and end up talking to them and making some friends, really. So it was interesting. It was something I'd say I enjoyed. There were definitely things I'd rather be doing, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It was pretty good, I thought. But yeah, there were people who were active, people who were reserved, and like I said, I tried to be active in it, and overall I'd say it was a pretty good thing. So, well, there you have it. I guess this portion's done. Screw you, Chris.